The world of Viridia was beautiful, but it was dying. Great, cancerous growths known as blights erupted from the earth, festering wounds that pulsed with dark magic. From them spawned grotesque, corrupted monsters, creatures of pure malice, that spread across the land, leaving desolation in their wake. Adventurers, armed with steel and magic, fought tirelessly, but they only ever managed to cut back the branches, never truly heal the root. Elara was a quiet soul, a young woman from a farming village whose greatest skill was coaxing life from stubborn soil. She had no combat prowess, no grand ambitions. She watched as a small, insidious blight began to creep towards her village's fields, slowly poisoning the vibrant crops, turning them brittle and black. System alert! Protagonist: Elara has registered a Nature's Despair anomaly. New. Core class protocol initiated. The Systems Gardener. New core class unlocked. The Systems Gardener. Core ability unlocked. Nourish soil, Alvebeer 1. Active skill. Purifies a 1-meter radius of corrupted soil, restoring its fertility. Cost: 10 mana, use, cooldown, 5 seconds. Core ability unlocked. Seed of Life, Lovebirder 1. Active skill. Allows host to plant a basic, resilient seed that grows into a small, non-combat plant with minor beneficial properties, e.g. healing herbs, nutrient-rich berries. Cost: 5 mana seed. Core ability unlocked. Blight Sense, passive. Host can perceive the direction and approximate strength of active blights within 1 kilometer. Elara stared at the glowing notifications. Mana, Blight Sense, she looked. At her trembling hands, then at the creeping black tendrils of corruption inching closer to her family's prize-winning gourds. Adventurers wielded swords, she grew plants. Elara, the Systems Gardener. Level: 1 HP 80-80, MP 100-100, Regen 10 hour, Star 8, weak. Dex 10, clumsy. Int 15, observant. Wiz 20, deep connection to nature. Con 10, average health. Che 12, gentle demeanor. She approached the blighted soil, a gnawing fear in her stomach. It felt wrong, twisted. She focused, channeling the strange energy that now flowed through her. Nourish soil, Lever 1, activated. Target: blighted soil. Mana 10. A faint green light emanated from her hands. The black tendrils shivered, recoiled, and then slowly, miraculously, faded. Beneath, the soil regained its healthy brown hue. Blighted soil purified, 1 square meter reclaimed. XP gain, 25, successful purification. Level up, Elara is now level 2. Skill: Nourish soil, has leveled up to level 2. New Gardener. Ability unlocked. Terraform, Lever 1. Active skill. Allows host to subtly reshape small areas of purified land, e.g. flatten ground, create a small ditch. Cost: 15 mana, action. Elara felt a surge of hope. It was a slow process, agonizingly so. Each meter of purified soil felt like a monumental effort, but for the first time, she felt like she could do something. She could fight the blight, not with a sword, but with life. This was her weapon. This was her path. She was the Systems Gardener, and her village, her world, needed her. Elara dedicated herself to the small blight threatening her village. It was a persistent, insidious entity, slowly expanding even as she fought it back, meter by meter. Her blight sense pulsed with its presence, a low, malevolent hum. Primary objective: eradicate village blight. Status: 1% purified. Secondary objective: understand blight mechanics. She discovered that simply purifying the soil wasn't enough. The blight's roots ran deep, constantly recorrupting the surrounding earth. She needed to establish a more permanent defense. She began to experiment with Seed of Life, planting specialized flora on the purified land. She discovered that by imbuing her mana into the seeds, she could influence their growth. Seed of Life, Lever 1. Activated. Mana, 5. Result: Sun Petal Sprout. The sun petal sprout, a small luminous flower, emitted a faint purifying aura. When planted in clusters, they subtly pushed back against the Blight's insidious influence. It was slow, but it was working. XP gain 75, successful Blight deterrence. Level up, Elara is now level 5. Skill: Seed of Life has leveled up to level 3. New Gardener ability unlocked. Ward Bloom Cultivation, Alvear 1, active skill. Allows host to grow specialized flora with stronger protective or restorative properties. Cost: 20 mana plant. Her biggest challenge came when a corrupted strangler vine, level 10, emerged from the Blight, lashing out at her, its tendrils crackling with dark energy. Elara, with her low HP and no combat skills, was defenseless. She used Terraform to create a deep ditch, slowing it down. But it was not enough. She poured all her remaining mana into Ward Bloom Cultivation, focusing on the concept of defense, of sanctuary. Ward Bloom Cultivation, level 1, activated. Mana, 20. Result: Thornwall Bush. A thick, thorny bush imbued with her protective mana erupted from the purified earth, forming a dense, living barrier between Elara and the strangler vine. The bush, alive with her intent, thrashed and jabbed at the vine, holding it at bay, just long enough for it to retreat back into the Blight, frustrated. XP gain, 150. Successful defensive cultivation. Level up, Elara is now level 8. Skill: Ward Bloom Cultivation has leveled up to level 2. New Gardener ability unlocked, Leyline Sense, passive. Host can perceive the flow and direction of minor magical ley lines within 100 meters. Elara had defended herself not with a blade, but with a wall of thorns. Her hands might have been dirty, but they were now powerful. She had found her place, her purpose in the heart of a dying world, a small, fragile bloom of hope pushing back against the encroaching darkness. Elara's village became a small, verdant oasis. The Blight, contained and slowly pushed back by her Ward Bloom defenses and continuous nourish soil efforts, was shrinking. Her fame, as the gardener who made the Blight wilt, began to spread. Primary objective: eradicate village Blight. Status: 50% purified. Secondary objective: reclaim blighted land. She started to understand the true nature of Blights with her, Blight Sense, and newly acquired Leyline Sense. They were not just corrupted patches of earth, but parasitic entities that drained the natural mana from the land, feeding it to a larger, unseen source. Their roots, she realized, were tapping into the minor ley lines. She needed to sever those connections. Using her terraform skill, she began to carve intricate channels around the Blight, diverting the ley lines that fed it. Then, she planted powerful ward blooms, not just to defend, but to actively purify the diverted mana, reversing the flow. Ward Bloom Cultivation, level 3, activated. Mana, 30. Result: Mana Siphon Lotus. The Mana Siphon Lotus, a radiant, glowing plant, began to actively draw in the corrupted mana from the Blight's roots, cleansing it and releasing pure mana back into the surrounding environment. The Blight shuddered, its growth visibly slowing. XP. Gain, 300, successful mana diversion. Level up, Elara is now level 12. Skill: Blight Sense has leveled up to level 3. New Gardener ability unlocked. Root Purge, level 1. Active skill. Causes concentrated purifying energy to flow into a designated Blight root, severely weakening it. Cost: 50 mana use. The corrupted monsters from the Blight became more aggressive, sensing their source of power diminishing. They lashed out, but Elara's thornwall bushes and newly cultivated binding vines, level 1, another ward bloom, held them back. Finally, she was ready. She found the main root, a thick, pulsating tendril buried deep in the earth. She channeled all her will, all her mana, into her new skill. Root Purge, level 1. Activated. Target: main Blight root. Mana, 50. A burst of brilliant green light surged into the earth. The entire Blight convulsed, then slowly, agonizingly, began to wither. Its dark energy dissipated, its monsters dissolving into dust. Primary objective: eradicate village Blight, completed. Quest reward: Blight eradicated. Village land purified, 1000 XP. Level up: Elara is now level 15. Class evolution: the system's gardener. Viridia's verdant healer. New core ability unlocked: Blight anchor, passive. Host gains partial immunity to Blight corruption and can establish permanent purification zones with reduced mana cost. Elara stood triumphant amidst a field of flourishing crops. The village Blight a memory. She had done what no adventurer had ever done, not merely defeated a Blight, but healed the land. She was Viridia's verdant healer, and her journey had just begun. Elara's achievement made her famous. The Adventurers Guild, initially skeptical of a non-combatant, was forced to acknowledge her success. Her methods, though slow, were permanent. They sent a delegation, led by the stern, Tier 20 paladin Sir Kalen, to observe her work. Primary quest: the Great Blight of Eldoria. Objective: eradicate the Great Blight threatening the capital city of Eldoria. Reward: immense XP and global influence. Sir Kalen, who had fought numerous Blights with traditional combat, was initially dismissive. Your little flowers are no match for the corrupted behemoths, level 50 plud, that spawn from the Great Blights, girl. Elara, with her newly acquired Blight anchor skill, began to establish small purification zones around her village, expanding its fertile lands. She demonstrated how her mana siphon lotuses could weaken a Blight from the outside, even without direct combat. Wardbloom cultivation, Lever 4, activated. Mana, 40. Result: Spirit Weave Tree. The Spirit Weave Tree, a majestic, ancient-looking tree, pulsed with pure mana. It drew in corrupted elemental spirits, purifying them and releasing them as benevolent nature sprites, who would then aid Elara in her gardening, fertilizing soil and tending plants. This drastically sped up her work. XP gain, 750. Successful. Environmental harmonization. Level up! Elara is now level 18. Skill: Leyline Sense has leveled up to level 5. New gardener ability unlocked: Leyline rerouting, via. Active skill: allows host to subtly shift the course of major elemental ley lines, cutting off a Blight's primary mana source. Cost: 100 mana, use, high risk of magical backlash. Sir Kalen, witnessing Elara's ability to turn corrupted land into a thriving ecosystem, to even purify corrupted spirits, began to see the true power of her approach. He watched as her nature sprites worked tirelessly, as the mana siphon lotuses pulsed, as a truly massive, corrupted troll, level 35, that had emerged from a lingering minor Blight was visibly weakened, and then, surrounded by a ring of thornwall bushes and binding vines, slowly dissolved. You didn't even touch it, Sir Kalen whispered, awestruck. Elara's non-violent, holistic method was undeniable. The Guild, realizing the potential for long-term solutions, formally endorsed her methods. Sir Kalen, humbling himself, offered to lead an expedition to the Great Blight of Eldoria, not to attack it directly, but to protect Elara as she began her slow, deliberate work. Elara, Viridia's verdant healer, accepted. The greatest challenge of her life awaited her. The Great Blight of Eldoria was a terrifying spectacle. It was a mountain of pulsating, dark flesh and corrupted stone, miles wide, constantly spewing forth corrupted behemoths, levi 50+, abyssal drakes, lever 60+, and swarms of shadow ghouls, lever 40+. It had pushed Eldoria, the capital city, to the brink of collapse, its defenses constantly under siege. Primary objective: eradicate the Great Blight of Eldoria. Status: sent purified. Secondary objective: protect Eldoria's defenses. Elara, protected by Sir Kalen and a cohort of guild adventurers, began her work on the perimeter. She couldn't hope to purify the entire Blight directly. She had to cut off its lifeblood, the grand ley lines that fed it. She located the crucial grand ley lines feeding the Blight, deep beneath the earth, using her advanced ley line sense. Rerouting them would require immense mana and precision, an act that could cause catastrophic magical feedback. Ley line rerouting, Levere 1. Activated. Target, grand ley line, Blight source. Mana, 100. Warning, high risk of magical backlash. 50% chance of host debuff, 25% chance of localized mana storm. As she prepared the ritual to reroute the first ley line, a massive wave of corrupted behemoths attacked Eldoria's walls. Sir Kalen and the adventurers fought desperately, but they were being overwhelmed. Elara had to buy them time. She poured all her mana into a desperate new cultivation. Ward Bloom Cultivation, Levere 5, activated. Mana, 50. Result, Living Rampart. True. From the purified soil just outside Eldoria's walls, a colossal, ancient-looking tree erupted. Its roots burrowed deep, reinforcing the city's foundations. Its branches, thick as oak trunks, spread out, forming a massive living shield against the approaching behemoths. The living rampart tree itself pulsed with healing energy, regenerating the HP of any ally standing near it. XP gain, 1500. Critical defense establishment. Level up. Elara is now level 22. Skill. Leyline rerouting has leveled up to level 2. New Gardener ability unlocked. Mana Bloom, Leviter 1. Active skill. Allows host to grow a temporary, mana-rich plant that can instantly restore a small amount of mana to any nearby sentient being. Cost, 30 mana. Plant. Cooldown, 1 minute. The living rampart tree held. Its sheer, living bulk absorbed the impact of the behemoths, its bark glowing with resilient strength. The adventurers, shielded and subtly healed by its aura, rallied. They had a chance. Elara, exhausted but resolute, began the painstaking work of rerouting the first grand ley line. The magical feedback was immense, searing her mind with raw, untamed energy. She used Mana Bloom to sustain herself, forcing herself to push through the pain. Magical backlash activated. Host debuff. Mana exhaustion. 50% mana regen for 1 hour. Ley line rerouting. Laverinter 2. Successful. First grand ley line cut off from Blight. The great Blight of Eldoria shuddered. A small part of its monstrous form shriveled and receded. Elara had struck the first true blow against it, not with steel, but with the patient power of the earth itself. She was the living shield, and Eldoria had a hope for tomorrow. With the grand ley lines slowly being rerouted, the great Blight of Eldoria began to weaken. Its outward pressure on Eldoria lessened, and the monsters it spawned became fewer and less aggressive. Adventurers, inspired by Elara, began to call her the World Tree's Embrace, a protector who brought life, not death. Primary objective: eradicate the Great Blight of Eldoria. Status: 30% purified. Secondary objective: locate Blight. Core Elara knew the Blight had a heart, a Blight core that served as its ultimate source. She had to reach it and fully cleanse it. Her Blight sense now pointed her deep within the Blight's rotting interior. With the outer defenses weakened, Sir Kalen and his party, along with a contingent of brave adventurers, formed a protective vanguard, carving a path into the blighted lands. Elara followed, her feet treading on corrupted earth, her every step an act of defiance. Root Purge, Levere 5, activated. Mana, 100. Target: major Blight vein. Result: massive Blight sector collapse. As they delved deeper, Elara unleashed powerful root purges, severing massive Blight veins, causing entire sectors of the festering growth to collapse, revealing the scarred earth beneath. The adventurers cleared the collapsing debris, creating a path. XP gain 3000 major Blight vein severance. Level up: Elara is now level 26. Skill: Blight sense has leveled up to level 5, max. New Gardener ability unlocked. Blight core ceiling, Leverder 1. Active skill. Allows host to infuse the Blight core with pure life mana, permanently neutralizing it. Cost. All remaining mana, high risk of self-sacrifice if mana insufficient. They finally reached the Blight core, a massive pulsating organ of pure darkness, radiating despair and malice, constantly regenerating the blight around it. It was guarded by the Blight Lord, Lever 70, a horrific entity of corrupted nature. Sir Kalen and the adventurers engaged the Blight Lord in a desperate battle. Elara knew she couldn't fight. She had to channel all her power into Blight core, sealing. She placed her hands on the pulsating core. It felt cold, dead, but vibrant with destructive power. She could feel the vast, unholy network of corrupted ley lines flowing into it. Her mana poured out of her, an endless river of pure green energy, fighting back against the darkness. Blight core ceiling, Lever 1, activated. Mana, 500, all remaining mana. Warning, Blight core resisting, mana insufficient, risk of self-sacrifice 50%. Elara felt her life force being drained, her body weakening. She was giving everything she had, but it wasn't enough. The Blight core roared, trying to consume her. Suddenly, a surge of energy flowed into her. The adventurers, seeing her struggle, and inspired by her bravery, began to channel their own mana into her, a collective act of sacrifice. Sir Kalen, his eyes firm, laid a hand on her shoulder, pouring his paladin's divine energy into her. Even the nature sprites she had cultivated, the grateful, purified elemental beings, surged towards her, adding their small, pure mana to her effort. Collective mana channeling activated. Mana insufficient warning overridden. With the combined strength of her allies and the world itself, Elara's pure life mana overwhelmed the Blight core. The darkness shrieked, convulsed, and then slowly, agonizingly began to wither. The entire great blight of Eldoria began to shrink, to die, to crumble into inert dust. Blight core sealed. Great blight of Eldoria eradicated. Primary objective, eradicate the great blight of Eldoria completed. Quest reward, world healed. Plus earn 10,000 XP. Level up. Elara is now level 30. Maxed. Class evolution, Viridia's Verdant Healer. The World Tree's Avatar. New ultimate ability, Global Verdant Embrace, passive. Host's presence subtly encourages natural healing and growth across the entire world of Viridia. All future blight manifestations are significantly weakened and easier to eradicate. Global effect, Viridia's Rebirth. All blighted lands across Viridia begin a slow, natural process of purification. The system now favors nature-based solutions. Elara, utterly drained but alive, stood amidst the crumbling remnants of the Blight core, a new era dawning across Viridia. Elara, the World Tree's avatar, became a legend beyond compare. She had not defeated a monster. She had healed a world. Her ultimate ability, Global Verdant Embrace, meant that no blight would ever again threaten Viridia with the same destructive power. The land itself began to hum with new life, slowly reclaiming what was lost. Her maxed-out skills reflected her profound connection to the natural world. Nourish soil, Leversh Max. Could purify vast areas instantly. Seed of Life, Leversh Max. Could grow any non-combat plant with immense beneficial properties. Blight Sense, Lev Max. Could pinpoint blight cores anywhere on the continent. Terraform, Lev Max. Could reshape entire landscapes. Ward Bloom Cultivation, Lev Max. Could grow. Colossal. Mana-infused flora for any purpose. Leyline Sense, Leversh Max. Could see the entire network of ley lines across the world. Root Purge, Leversh Max. Could instantly sever the roots of even the largest blights. Leyline Rerouting, Leversh Max. Could safely reroute any ley line, no matter how powerful. Mana Bloom, Lalver Max. Could conjure instant mana-rich plants for large groups. Blight Anchor, passive. Complete immunity to blight corruption. able to establish massive purification zones. Blight core sealing, Alver's max. Could seal any Blight core with minimal mana, drawing power from the land itself. Elara established the Order of the Verdant Heart, a new kind of guild for systems gardeners and nature healers. Adventurers still fought monsters, but the system itself now subtly encouraged them to work with gardeners, to protect the land, and to seek healing over destruction. Sir Kalen, now her fiercest protector and advocate, ensured that Elara and her order had all the resources they needed. He saw her as the true savior of Viridia, a quiet, gentle force that had achieved what no army or hero ever could. Elara continued her work, traveling across Viridia, leaving a trail of blossoming life in her wake. She helped forgotten forests regrow, dried rivers flow again, and barren lands turn fertile. She taught farmers to be better stewards of the land, and adventurers to be more mindful of its delicate balance. The world of Viridia was forever changed. The constant threat of blights diminished, replaced by a slow, steady tide of renewal. Elara, the World Tree's avatar, was not just a hero. She was a force of nature, an embodiment of Viridia's spirit. Her greatest legacy wasn't just the absence of blights, but the profound shift in the system itself. The default quests now included options for ecological restoration, for nurturing nascent life, for balancing ecosystems. Combat remained, but it was no longer the only path, nor even the most prestigious. Elara's life was an endless garden. She walked the revitalized lands, her presence causing plants to bloom, her touch healing the earth. She was the quiet strength, the patient wisdom, the enduring hope of a world that had almost succumbed to despair. She showed everyone that true power didn't always roar. Sometimes it whispered through the rustling leaves, flowed with the pure river water, and bloomed in the resilient heart of a single determined gardener. The system had given her a class, but she had used it to grow a new world. Viridia, once dying, was now a vibrant, flourishing testament to the system's gardener, a testament to the enduring power of life itself. The world was her garden, and it would forever bloom.